Elara Flynn Ember counted her breaths that night. Slow, shaky, deliberate. 1, 2, 3. She lay in the dark, afraid to even blink because blinking meant letting her guard down, and letting her guard down meant giving him another chance to break her. She listened for movement outside her bedroom door. The low rumble of anger she'd memorized like a dangerous song. Every shadow on the wall felt like a threat. Every creak in the house sounded like a warning. 4 years Elara lived like this, barely sleeping, barely surviving, trapped in a world where love was a weapon and silence was used to suffocate. She kept her shoes beside her bed for one reason. She never knew when she'd need to run. And then the impossible happened. A shout, a crash of glass, the stomp of footsteps fading down the hall. Then the sound she prayed for, feared, and dreamed about in the same breath. The click of the lock sliding open. He'd forgotten to bolt her door this time. For the first time in years, she had a way out. Elara didn't think. She didn't strategize. Her body moved faster than fear could catch up. She pushed open the door inch by inch, terrified the hinges would squeal and betray her escape. When the cold night air hit her face, she bolted, bare feet pounding pavement, lungs burning, heart thrashing inside her chest. She didn't stop running. Not for blocks. Not for miles. Not until the bus station lights flickered into view through blurry vision. She bought a ticket with trembling fingers and boarded the first bus going anywhere but back. As the bus pulled away, she kept her head down, gripping the seat so tightly her knuckles blanched white. For the first time, she wasn't running toward danger. She was running toward possibility. Elara arrived in a small, quiet town that felt like it had been forgotten by time. The kind of place where strangers nodded as they passed, where kids played in streets without fear, and where life moved slow enough for her to breathe without bracing for the next explosion of anger. She found a room above a bakery run by a warm, silver-haired woman who didn't ask questions Elara wasn't ready to answer. The room was tiny, the wallpaper cracked, but to Elara it felt like freedom. She took a job washing dishes, saved her money, and learned to sleep again, though every night she still placed her shoes by the bed out of habit. Days passed. Weeks. Peace began to feel possible. Then the black SUV appeared. At first, Elara noticed it only because it didn't belong. It sat across the street from the bakery, perfectly still, windows so dark they didn't show the world, only reflected it back. She watched it from her window. It stayed for an hour, then left without a sound. The next day it returned, and the next. Always the same spot, always pointed toward her window. Her stomach twisted in a way she knew too well. That primal alarm that whispers, you're in danger. Something is coming. She tried to brush it off as paranoia. After all, she'd lived in fear for so long that danger felt like a shadow that followed her everywhere. But when she reported it to the police, the officer barely looked up. People park, he shrugged. Not helpful. Not reassuring. The SUV didn't leave. It waited. But nothing could prepare Elara for what happened next. The news broadcast. She was wiping down a table at the bakery when the television above the counter cut to breaking news. The reporter spoke with practiced calm. A major development in the disappearance of Adrian Valtor, son of billionaire Sean Valtor. The bakery fell silent. Even the kitchen hum dimmed. The screen shifted to a photo of Sean Valtor, a man with calculating eyes, wearing wealth like armor. Then to his missing son. Then Elara froze. Her face appeared on the screen. Her name, Elara Flynn Ember, person of interest. Her breath caught. The rag dropped from her hand. She felt the room spinning, the world narrowing into a tunnel of disbelief and terror. She had never met the Valtors, never crossed paths with anyone from that world of private jets and velvet ropes. Yet there she was, plastered on every screen in the country as a suspect in a billionaire's manhunt. Elara barely made it up the stairs to her room. She pushed open the door, and her blood ran cold. A note lay on her bed, folded neatly, waiting for her. Her hand shook as she opened it. Don't run this time. Her heart hammered against her ribs. She scanned the room. Nothing stolen. Nothing broken. But things were slightly moved. A drawer left open that she knew she'd shut. A hair tie placed on the wrong side of the dresser. A shoe angled differently than she'd left it. Someone had been inside her room while she was at work, while she had been downstairs. Her sanctuary had been breached. That night, Elara didn't sleep. She sat against her door, knees pulled to her chest, listening to every whisper of the hallway. At around 3 a.m., she heard it, someone humming just outside her door. Soft, creeping, almost playful. She covered her mouth to keep from screaming. From that day on, everything changed. Strangers followed her. Men lingered near the bakery. Her phone disappeared and reappeared with every message wiped clean. Someone left scuff marks on her fire escape. A voice whispered her name on a deserted street. Fear wrapped around her like a second skin. But fear couldn't drown the fire inside Elara anymore. She started digging. She researched Sean Valtor and discovered an empire built on money, secrets, and silent threats. Adrian Valtor's disappearance was far from simple. Reports contradicted one another. Staff members vanished. Timestamps didn't match. And beneath it all was a rumor of a secret Adrian had learned about his father, one powerful enough to destroy everything the billionaire had built. Elara connected the pieces. Sean Valtor didn't think she had a son. He didn't believe she'd done anything. He needed a face to blame, a nobody with no power, someone society wouldn't defend, someone he could crush without consequence. Elara Flynn Ember was the perfect scapegoat. The harassment intensified. One night, as she took out the trash behind the bakery, two men stepped into the alley, blocking her path. Their smiles were wrong, too calm for men who meant trouble. One leaned close. "Mr. Valtor wants a conversation." Elara ran before he finished the sentence. This wasn't like escaping her abuser. This was escaping a machine, cold, calculating, relentless. But Elara was no longer the woman who froze under fear. She had survived too much to back down. She gathered evidence, recorded voices, took photos of the SUV, kept copies of the notes, backed up everything in multiple places. The deeper she dug, the clearer the picture became. Adrian hadn't just vanished. He had confronted someone close to his father, someone dangerous, someone Valtor needed to protect more than his own son. And the file Elara found, an encrypted audio clip buried anonymously online, confirmed it. A man's voice whispered a name linked directly to the Valtor empire moments before the audio cut out. Her hands shook as she listened, not from fear, but from knowing the truth. Sean Valtor was covering up a crime, and he planned to let Elara take the fall. When she finally pieced everything together, she realized she had a choice. Keep running and be swallowed by the lie, or turn around and fight the giant chasing her. Elara Flynn Ember chose to fight. She leaked everything she found to a journalist known for exposing corrupt billionaires. A journalist who had once been threatened into silence by the Valtor family, but not anymore. It was like dropping a match on a gasoline. Her story exploded across the country. People questioned the billionaire. The SUV disappeared. The men stopped lurking in alleys. Investigations reopened. Whistleblowers came forward, and the truth began to surface. Elara watched as the empire that had hunted her started to crack, publicly, loudly, irreversibly. For the first time since her escape, she stood tall, unafraid, as the world finally saw her clearly. Not as a suspect, not as a runaway, not as prey, but as Elara Flynn Ember, a survivor who refused to be erased, a woman who outran monsters, and then turned around and defeated one. She had escaped abuse. She had survived a billionaire's war, and now she was free. Truly, finally free. Subscribe to this channel to watch more intense drama and captivating stories. Thank you for watching. Are you team fight or flight in the face of trouble? Share your thoughts in the comments.